can slither anywhere and strike faster than the blink of an eye. Every year, snakes bite nearly 5.5 million people worldwide, and some of those bites are caught on camera. Today, we've collected the most terrifying, surprising, and tragic snake attacks ever recorded on video. How to Survive presents 6 snake attacks you'll wish you never saw. Number 6. The Fearless Shaman. Nek Tadang was an Indonesian shaman, famous in his small village for handling deadly animals without any fear. Sadly, his last act was caught on video in 2020. He had captured a king cobra and prepared a show for his neighbors. As usual, he started handling and spinning the cobra, smiling at the audience, but things soon got out of hand. After the snake's first spin, he had to catch it when it tried to bite his face. Unfortunately, the snake managed to twist and bite his wrist. Some of his enthusiastic audience screamed in fear. Tadang pretended to scold the cobra as villagers came to help him clean the wound, but he insisted on continuing. Seconds later, the increasingly furious snake struck him directly in the face. He finished his performance, but 2 hours later he began to feel very ill. At the hospital, doctors administered an antivenom, but unfortunately, it was too late. The venom flooded his bloodstream, and Nek Tadang was pronounced dead. Even people accustomed to handling wild animals can get killed by them. So never attempt to do it without proper training and equipment. Number 5. A cat wins its share. In central India, it's not uncommon for snakes to sneak into homes, but Rajesh Barv and his wife finally had enough here. They were lucky to have a cat that has always spotted scaly intruders in time. On this occasion, the cat started hissing at the shoe rack. As some of the shoes were moved, this happened. A deadly cobra was ready to kill, stressed by all the commotion. Rajesh called in a snake handler. The frightened reptile attacked again and again, getting more and more agitated. The handler managed to get hold of the unwanted visitor for a short period of time, but had to release it until a jar could be found to keep it in. As the man started the rescue all over again, the cobra unfolded its hood and tried to strike. Experience and ingenuity allowed the expert to finish the job and bring his latest success story to a shelter. If you live in an area where snakes are common, don't forget to close windows and doors to prevent any unwanted slithering guests. Number 4. The Caught Charmer. This 35-year-old man is a professional performer with many years of experience handling venomous snakes. On this particular day, he was performing with a king cobra. The venom it releases in a single bite can kill 20 humans, even an adult elephant. Unfortunately for the handler, it was not his day. After a few turns, the snake lunged towards his arm and bit him. Only a few minutes after the bite, he fell unconscious and stopped breathing. He was rushed to the hospital and spent 3 days on life support. He was lucky to be alive, but more than a week after his close encounter, he still had burn-like wounds all over his body. The only thing that saved this man was immediate medical attention, so never approach a deadly cobra in the wild without antivenom in your pocket. Number 3. The Slithering Nightmare. This terrifying video will give you plenty of material for your own future nightmares. It's 2019, and this 75-year-old grandmother is sleeping in her Bangkok home when an intruder sneaks into her room. At first, the lethal python remains still, perhaps just looking for a cool place to spend the night. But soon the woman begins moving in her sleep. her foot wiggling is just inches from the deadly trespasser. The snake remains alert, perhaps feeling threatened by the movement. The lady's foot moves again, and the beast lunges forward. It takes a second for the woman to react after the fangs dig into her skin. At first, she thinks it's just a bad dream. She wakes up and finds something worse than a nightmare. A python coiled in front of her bed, ready to strike again. Fortunately, she managed to get out of the room and call for help. Experts think that the snake entered the woman's room through the bathroom pipes. Yet another reason to be careful when reaching for toilet paper in the bathroom. Number 2. When stunts go wrong. Artivo Duarte is a famous Brazilian activist known as the Ninja of Serpents. He regularly performs dangerous stunts with deadly animals to raise awareness about deforestation in the Amazon. But, every once in a while, a stunt can go wrong. This time he wanted to put the head of a huge python in his mouth while he already had a tarantula resting on his tongue. The tarantula behaved as expected, but when he tried to add the snake into the mix, disaster struck. The reptile bit him straight on the face. After a few terrifying and painful seconds, the python let go. Pythons have no venom, so Artivo's life was not threatened. Still, please, never try this at home. Number 1. A curious tourist. Watching charmers at a snake park in Thailand from a distance is one thing, but trying to imitate them, well, this Chinese tourist was invited to kiss a snake as part of the show. As she approached, the snake turned its head and bit her directly on the nose. The rest of the tourists screamed in terror. The handlers were as shocked as the poor woman. She struggled in pain as the snake gripped her face. Finally, the staff managed to free the 29-year-old woman. She was taken to the hospital where she received 8 stitches to her nose. The company that organized the show paid her about $3,000 in damages and stated that tourists would no longer be allowed to get up close and personal with the snakes. Slender, stealthy beasts sneaking into your home are scary, but huge monsters like this one breaking in and eating you whole are like a scene from a horror movie. That's why we've compiled the scariest true stories of people who survived being attacked by Komodo dragons. Want to see them? Keep watching here on How to Survive.